Alright, guys. I have a lot to talk about right now. I'm gonna quit YouTube for good. I don't think I really have much more to do in YouTube. You know, so I'm sorry. I can't do it anymore. Bye, guys. Probably never see you again. So yeah. Bye bye. Man, I just kind of have to. At this point, there's not really a choice for me, right? You know, well, sometimes I feel like a fish leaping over and over again, always trying to get somewhere, don't know where, or only to find myself in the jaws of a beast. It also reminds me of a time I was speaking to one of my good friends. We were sitting on a park bench watching the pigeons. I was on the left and he was on the, or wait, was I on the right or left? Anyways, it doesn't matter. We were sitting on the bench there watching the pigeons, and I said to my friend, those birds are frozen. He kind of looked at me like I lost my mind, but I reminded him that it was winter, Often birds will sit in a tree until they freeze. They'd sort of fall to the ground until the sun warms up and they can, move around again. So I said to my buddy, you might as well save those breadcrumbs until the birds thaw, because they can't very well enjoy them in the condition they're in. To which he asked what I meant, and asking what condition the breadcrumbs should be in before he threw them to the birds, I assuming that I had meant the birds couldn't enjoy the breadcrumbs in the condition the crumbs were in, when the fact I had meant the birds couldn't enjoy them in the condition the birds were in, considering they were frozen. So he took a moment and he threw his last handful to the ground. I said to him, why did you throw the breadcrumbs to the birds when I told you they're frozen? To which he responded, the breadcrumbs are not frozen. Again, misunderstanding my words. I didn't mean to say that the breadcrumbs are frozen when I told you they're frozen. I've been referring to the birds. In hindsight, what he should have said was, this will make perfect sense. Why did you throw the breadcrumbs to the birds when the birds are frozen? He misunderstood upon my correction, stating that he didn't know what else to do with the breadcrumbs. And perhaps, when the birds thawed, they'd still be able to eat the crumbs. So I said to my friend, I said, this is what I said to him, I said, the birds might be dead. That also reminds me of one summer day I was in the park. I was having a delightful picnic with one of my good friends. I said to him, hey, I have a story. And he said to me, what's the significance of the story? And I said to him, dude, not every story has to have significance, Sometimes, sometimes a story is just a story. You try and read into every little thing and find meaning in everything anyone says. You will just drive yourself crazy. Had a friend do it once. It wasn't pretty. Talked about it for years. Not only that, but you'll likely end up believing something you shouldn't believe, thinking something you shouldn't think, or assuming something you shouldn't assume, Sometimes I said a story is just a story, so just be quiet for 1 second in life and eat your sandwich, okay? Of course, it was only then I realized that I made sandwiches. My friend was having difficulty eating it. He was pretty clumsy, and so, I suppose that's a problem. So if I recall correctly, there was a bakery nearby. I said to him, here, let me go get you some rye bread. No, I don't know if he liked rye bread at all, but I think he did. So this was on a Tuesday, which was good because rye bread was always fresh on a Tuesday. They made sourdough bread on Monday and threw it out on Wednesday, or rather they sold it at a discount for people wanting to feed the ducks. Or probably at the end of the day when they finally threw it all out. I don't recall. I do remember a man that would take his son to the bakery every Wednesday and go feed the ducks. He would buy all the sourdough bread, of course, you know. You're not supposed to feed the ducks sourdough bread at all. It swells up their stomach and then they all die. And at least that's what I've heard, you know. I've never seen any ducks die myself, but I do notice a few substantial decreases in duck population over the course of a few years. I just never thought to tell the man that by feeding them the bread, he was actually killing them, you know? Because that would kind of interrupt his time. So yeah. So that's the thing. So this also reminds me of a time I woke up in the morning, right? And I was, you know, gonna play some video games, but then I heard the birds chirping, you know. Sometimes I wonder what birds are outside my window. It's pretty, it's kind of weird, you know, it doesn't make sense. Like, you never are able to see what, you know, what birds are outside. You never see them. They're just in the, you know, just in the trees, hidden away. You can't see them, you know. So anyways, I opened up my computer and I put my headphones on to try and drown out the birds, right? But then I hear a woodpecker right outside my window in the front of the house. And it was really loud. So I tried to get up and shoo it away, but it wouldn't work. You know? So what ended up happening, I ended up going outside and I tried to kick the tree. I tried to kick it out of the tree. But then what happened, you know, it ended up just staying there, right? And so sooner or later, probably after a few minutes, I went back inside and I put on the headphones again, and I could still hear it, you know. So what I did, I couldn't do anything about it actually. So what I really had to do was nothing about it, and so I had to move to the back of the house. And so where was it downstairs? Did I go to the garage or the back of the house? Oh, whatever, that's not important. So I think I went to the garage actually, since there's no like heater, air conditioning in there. So I was in there just playing until I hear a big bang right on the garage door. You know, I thought it was a bird, another bird, that hit the garage door really hard, but it wasn't. It was actually my cat outside who whipped his tail against the door. I thought that he was inside of the house. He was in the garage. And of course the garage door was closed when this happened. So anyways, I just picked him up and, you know, I told him like, oh yeah, don't do that again, you know. You scared me. So, you know, I picked him up and I just put him back down. So anyways, I was still about to open my computer, and then I was finally able to play, you know. This kind of reminds me of one time, you know, I was playing Geometry Dash, right? A lot of trial and error in that, a lot of fails in that, and so, yeah, I remember I was pretty bad at it some time ago, and I found it pretty boring, right? And so, anyways, oh yeah, that's right. And it reminds me of a time that a really long car ride was super boring for me. I just couldn't do anything other than sit there and listen. to the music playing. I didn't have my phone on me. It was pretty boring, man. So we were driving along for maybe an hour or two until we finally got to our destination, right? And so once we got out there, I think on the second day that we were there, I tripped and fell over a rock. And there was a river next to where I tripped, but luckily I didn't fall into the river. And so my dad came and he was like, "Oh yeah, son, are you okay?" Because my mom didn't come. So he was like, "Oh yeah, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm just fine. I just tripped over this rock here." Right? So what he decided to do, he decided to drive me out to a shop somewhere. Was it Stager Bros or Vaughn's? Forgot, it was a grocery store, right? It's not really important, but we went inside, we got some ice cream, we ate it, and then we went back into the truck, and I accidentally got some on the seat of the truck. And so my dad got kind of mad at me, but we were able to get it off. And then once we got back there, we realized that we forgot about our other family friends that were coming along, right? And what happened to them is they were really far behind, right? And so they also brought some bread, which kind of reminds me of the time I bought my friend some rye bread at a picnic. I talked about that earlier. And so, anyways, I remember once I opened a bag of gummies, right? And there were like 3 inside, but then my friend had the same company bag of gummies, and there were like 25 in his. So I asked if I could borrow some, and he said no. So anyways, what happened after that? I eventually started paying him money for gummies, right? So yeah, I know that part's kind of boring, but anyways, that does kind of remind me about that one time I went to 7-Eleven, and I forgot money, so I got absolutely nothing. So I was going there with all my friends from here, and I didn't bring any money. I forgot to bring money, so I asked them, "Hey, could I borrow some money?" They all said no, because they want to keep their money. And so what happened from there, we went inside, and I just didn't get anything, and the store worker there said, "Oh, why aren't you getting anything?" And I was like, I forgot to bring any money. And they were like, "Oh, dang, sorry about that, man." And then we left, we went back to my house, and they just kind of ate, right? It kind of does remind me about a time that me and my friends were playing, and I was the last to get picked for a team, right? So wait. Oh yeah, never mind. Me and my dad were playing soccer 1-on-1, and so once I kicked the ball right into his face, I think. Or was it his chest? I'm not 100% sure which one it was, but anyways, so yeah, I kicked the ball into his chest, and he was like, "Ah, that hurt." And I was like, "Well, I'm sorry, my bad. I accidentally kicked the ball into your face or chest or something." Right, and we got back into the car. We went back home eventually, and I played video games for a bit, and then I went to bed. Right, and then when I woke up the next morning, I found a nickel on the floor. Right, so I picked it up, and I was like, "Oh man, what a nice nickel this is." this is a pretty cool nickel. And then what happened that day as well? I went to a skate park actually, and I brought money to the skate park because they have a grocery store right outside it. So I bought something there. I think I bought something from Starbucks, or I bought like candy or something. I forgot. Anyways, so yeah, I was just messing around at the skate park where soon enough I fall back and hit the back of my body. I hit my back, but luckily I don't hit my spine. Right, that could have been really bad. But if I didn't hit my spine, and so it really hurt. So oh my bad, I have to sneeze. And so what happened after that is that I sat out for a bit, and my friends continued to scooter. Right, so, oh man. And so eventually I got back on the scooter and kept enjoying my time there, and I didn't fall again. This kind of reminds me of a time though. I was playing Wii Sports Resort with one of my other friends, and it was pretty fun. But eventually I accidentally hit my hand on a wall. Right, and I was like, that hurt. And my friend was like, yeah, you'll be fine. And I'm like, oh yeah, I probably will be. But yeah, that hurt. It also kind of reminds me of a time I was playing virtual reality and I hit my hand really hard on the mantle for the fireplace. And it hurt like a month after I did it. It hurt really bad. And so that really hurt. Reminds me of one time I was laying in my bed and watching YouTube, right? And then I put my head forward, and then the guy in the video, he gets jump scared, so I fling my head back suddenly, and I hit the wall frame, well, the head thing of my bed, and I hit it pretty hard with the back of my head. I'm like, man, that really hurt. Man, that hurt really bad. And then eventually I just get up and take a bike ride to a park. This reminds me of one time I went to that same park, and when I went there, one of my friends came along, and it was pretty fun until he fell on his bike, and it was kind of like face first too. So I could imagine it hurting pretty bad. So then after that, when we went to the grocery store around there, I think it was an Albertsons. Or was it a Trader Joe's? No, why would we go to Trader? I think it was Albertsons. So we went to an Albertsons right around there, and he washed his cut off, and yeah. I bet that must have hurt like a lot. When he fell down on his bike almost crushed him. But then when we were going back, I stopped to drink some water. But I didn't go to the side, so when I slowed down, he hit me really hard in the back of my bike, and he broke something on the back. I forgot what it was. I think it was like the chain or something to do with the chain, and it cost a lot of money to get fixed, So now yeah, I still ride that bike because we repaired it, and my friend's doing good. That was a few months ago, but anyways, yeah, bye guys. I'm gonna quit now. I'm gonna quit YouTube. It was a fun journey with you guys, with all 28 of my subscribers. So yeah, it was a really great journey, like all the videos, I might do something with my life. I don't know. So that's pretty much all there is to talk about. You know, it does kind of remind me one time when I was tech decking with some of my friends, and we built like a kind of like a skate park, right? But then we all stopped tech decking suddenly, and that's what I'm doing right now with YouTube. So, bye guys. Thank you for supporting me. I guess if you even watch this video at all. So yeah. Bye guys. See you later.